This is 5.5. We're doing equations with rational expressions. When you see the word rational, what does that mean? No, rational. Yep, fractions. Okay? And so basically, we're going to be dealing with equations that have fractions and how to solve them. Okay? This entire section has a lot to do with all rational things, so all fractions. Okay? A real simplistic one, I'm just going to go through. What you always need to remember is you always need a least common denominator.
What would be the easiest way to find that?
Look at the factors. Well, I'll show you. We'll kind of go through one here. We'll do an example. So let's see. I've got x over 2 minus 3 equals 2 over 3. All right, what are my two denominators now?
2 and 3.
Okay, so my denominators are 2 and 3. So my LCD is what? 6. Okay, yeah, nice that I start off with one. That's not too bad. There are two different ways that you can do this, okay? The way the textbook shows you to do it is to then, when you find your least common denominator, you multiply the entire thing, both sides, by that least common denominator.
So does that apply to the -3 inside too?
Yes, it applies to every single thing. So you're going to say 6. When you multiply 6 times a fraction, where does the 6 get multiplied to? The numerator or the denominator? Just the numerator. So it'll be 6x over 2 minus 18 equals, and then 6 times 2?
4.
Right. Okay, yeah. And automatically, I just heard you say, somebody say, what can this be reduced to? 3x. That's 3x minus 18 equals 4. Well, now, hey, this is Algebra 1. We can solve this, right? This should be making lots of people happy right now. Oh, good.
Wait, why doesn't it do that to the denominators?
When you do it, because it's like 6 over 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So you just multiply it by the numerator. Okay? Add 18. Yep. Divide by 3. And x equals 22 over 3. Now, of course, heaven forbid that we have all these nice, simple ones, okay? They're going to get a little trickier. Next example, example 2. Let's say I've got 6 over... What I like to do in this case, what is this? Yeah, what does this remind you of?
Proportion.
Yeah, it reminds me of a proportion. How do you solve proportions? Yep, it's like a proportion. But now that can only work, you guys, if it's just one fraction equal to another fraction. Okay? So when it's like a proportion, yes, we are going to cross multiply. So 6 times 8, 3 times all of that. 6 times 8 is 48, and it equals 3 times a minus 4. What might be my next step? I could distribute. Could I just divide by 3, do you think? You could do either thing. I could distribute in, or just to go ahead and get rid of that 3, I can go and just divide by 3 to begin with, all right? And what is 48 divided by 3? 16, yep. Now what do? Yeah, just add the 4. There you go. Now, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, they get a little trickier, okay?
So every time our x comes out as an improper fraction, we should just leave it?
Yes, that's a good thing to note. In XYZ on your homework, when you enter it in, That's correct. If it comes out an improper fraction, please enter it in that way. Don't try to change this to 7 1/3, okay? Because they do not like mixed numbers. They like improper fractions, okay? All right, let's do a couple more. We're going to spread this lesson over 2 days, okay? Because we have to take a look at graphs, but we're going to do that another day. So right now, we're just going to do the equations part, okay? Let's say that I've got x over x minus 2 oops, sorry. And then it equals, okay. This is, so you have to look at all three denominators, okay? Bless you. When you look at all three denominators, what's going to be the common denominator? So my denominators in this case are 3 and x minus 2. So what is my least common denominator? Yeah, 3 times x minus 2. All right, that's my least common denominator. So I'm going to, what I can do is I'm going to multiply the entire thing by that. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to take all of this.
Top and bottom?
No, remember you only multiply it into the, yep, so I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to multiply it by 3 times x minus 2. Now wait a minute. Can you guys see, well, let's just go ahead and do it. So let's multiply this into the top. So it's going to be 3x and then x minus 2. Do you see that on the first one? Right? This times this. Okay, then this times 2.
Oh.
Oops, this was 3 down here. Instead of making that 6, I'm going to leave it as 2 times 3 for right now. Okay. I want to point something out. When you multiply, okay, and you've got this, and you're multiplying it in, before you even multiply, can you see something that can be canceled right away?
All those.
Yeah, the x minus 2's. And now, I go ahead and multiply it in, and those 2 cancel, okay? And in the next one, notice that the 3's cancel. And in the last one, the x minus 2's. So let's get rid of them, because, in fact, you want all the denominators to go away, because they all can cross out. So we end up with 3x plus 2 times x minus 2 equals 6. Let's go back to our original problem up here. I could have saved myself a step by realizing that this one right here is missing the 3. So I multiply top and bottom by 3, and I'm just going to be left with a 3x. This one's missing the x minus 2, so it's just 2 times x minus 2. This one's missing the 3, so it's 6. Okay. Now go ahead, what's my next step? Now it's just an equation. Yes, you go ahead and distribute in. Okay?
I said it equal to 0. Oh, no.
Now I end up with and x equals 2. Okay? All right. Okay, next example in just a sec.